Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss about how we can test our application under different network conditions. Let us consider a case wherein we have an application and thousands or millions of clients or user use that particular application. Now there can be a possibility that different users are on different network conditions. For example, some of the users might be using your application under slow 2G connections. Some of them might be using 3G connection or 4G connections, or some of them might even be using some high-speed Wi-Fi's. So the expectation is that your application should behave as expected, and it should work seamlessly for all those users under different network conditions. As a tester, we should ensure that the application behaves as expected for all these different users. And to do so, what we will be doing is we will be somehow emulating their network conditions while running our tests. And in order to achieve that, what we'll be using is we will be employing Selenium 4 API, which gives us access to Chrome DevTools protocol. So before jumping into any sort of code, what we'll be doing is, let me just give you a small demo on what we'll be doing. So we'll be opening a Google Chrome browser, and we'll be navigating to, for example, google.com. We'll wait for the page to get loaded. You can see that the page has loaded very quickly over here. We'll then click on the Gmail button, and after we have clicked on Gmail button, again the page is loaded very quickly. We'll click on sign in button, and in the email ID field we'll be entering some random text. For example, this is a text test. So this is the script that we'll create and that we will be running, but we'll be running under different network conditions. So let me first try to show you manually how do we throttle different network profiles in Google Chrome. So to do so, what we will have to do is I'll just press Ctrl Shift I, and I'll have to go to this network tab, and here you'll have to select different network profiles. For example, there are some presets. For example, you can select fast 3G, slow 3G, or even offline mode. When you go to offline mode and you do something like www.google.com, you'll see that your connection is offline and you do not have access to any internet. If you go on slow 3G mode, again, if you reload and go to this website google.com, you can see that the page is still loading, and since we are on slow 3G, so it will take a longer time to get loaded. So this is how we emulate different network conditions manually, but we'll be doing the same thing programmatically, and that is by using Selenium 4 API. So we'll not be using any sort of presets that are defined over here. What I'll be doing is let me just show you a custom profile. I'll name this profile as test, and I'll restrict the download speed to be equal to, for example, it is in kbps, kilobits per second. So let me keep it equal to 320 kilobits per second, which will be somewhere around 40 kilobytes per second as the download speed. Upload speed I'll keep the same, and I'll set the latency to be to be equal to 5000 milliseconds. So let us use this particular custom profile. So I'll click on add, and I'll select this particular test custom profile. And now if I reload this page, empty cache and hard reload. Okay, empty cache and hard reload. Okay, let me just open the browser again. Let me verify if I have selected the correct network profile. Yes, I have selected this particular profile. Now let me just navigate to google.com. So the page is loading. As you can see, it has taken quite a long time to load. So we have successfully emulated slow network conditions over here. So once the page gets loaded, what we'll be doing is we'll be clicking on the Gmail link. So the page is still loading. We'll wait for the page to get loaded. Okay, the page is loaded. Now what my script will do is it will be clicking on the Gmail link. Again, since we have selected a custom network profile over here, which is known as the test profile, wherein we have set the latency to be 5000 milliseconds, and we have restricted the upload and the download speed to be equal to 320 kilobits per second. So that is why the pages are taking a bit longer to load. So this is what our users will be experiencing in the real time, and this is what we are trying to emulate on our in our test environment. So again, once this page gets loaded, we'll be clicking on the sign in button, and again we'll have to wait for the page to get loaded, and then in the email text field we'll have to enter some text. So this is the simple test that will be running under different network conditions or under a slow network condition. So let me just hop on to the script directly, wherein we'll be executing the same test again. But before doing that, let me just delete this particular custom profile. Okay, so I have deleted this one, and okay, let me just set it to no throttling. Yeah, so I have already written a small script. It's just a basic script wherein we are instantiating and we are instantiating the Chrome driver class, and we are maximizing the window. We are navigating to google.com, clicking on the Gmail link, then clicking on the sign in button, and again after your email field has loaded, we'll be entering this is a test in that particular email field, and we'll wait for 2 seconds so that we can see what is happening on the screen, and after that we'll be closing all the browser windows opened by the current web driver. So let me first run this test now. Now we have not emulated any sort of network condition over here, so it will just run in normal mode. So let me just try running this simple test. Yeah, so you can see that Chrome browser has launched and it has maximized. Google has been launched and the Gmail button is clicked. Again, so everything has happened so quickly. You can see that this is a test has been entered in this particular field, and the test was like it was seamless because I have a good network connection, and everything was loaded. Everything loaded very quickly, and the test ran just fine. So what I'll be doing is I'll try to emulate some slow network conditions so that we can test our application in such conditions. So for that, what I'll be doing is I'll be using Chrome DevTools protocol, which we have the access via Selenium 4. So driver.get DevTools, this is the method which returns an object of type DevTools. So DevTools is equal to driver.get DevTools, and I'll have to create a session first. So this is the session that I have created, and then we'll be sending some commands. So devtools.send. I'll be using the network domain. So this is the class, and it exposed various types of static methods. So first, what I'll be doing is I'll be enabling the network logging. So network.enable, and I can pass the empty values in these particular parameters. So optional.empty, I don't need to set anything over here. Maximum buffer size, maximum post data size. So we have an option of sending empty parameters to these particular fields. And the next thing that I'll be doing is I'll be again sending a new command from the network domain, and the command will be emulate network conditions. So this is the command that we'll be using. You can also, you know, to get more details around what this command does, you can also Google it. For example, network.emulate network conditions. So herein you will be able to see, like, this is the network domain, and under the network domain there are a lot of commands. For example, clear browser cache or disable, enable, like the one which we have just used. So what we are using is emulate network conditions. So this is the command that we are using, and it accepts quite a few parameters. For example, the first parameter is a Boolean parameter. If we set that first parameter to be equal to true, then it will make our connection offline. And if we set it to false, it will be online. Then the second parameter is the latency, that is the amount of time it takes for data to travel from one node to another. So just a few moments ago, when we tried to set a custom network profile, we had set the latency to be equal to I think 5000 milliseconds. So that is what we'll be emulating again. This is the download throughput or the download bandwidth. This will be in bytes per second. When we try to set it manually using on the Chrome browser, it was in kilobits per second, but here we'll have to mention it in bytes per second. This is the upload speed, and this is the connection type. Again, this is an optional argument. Yeah, so let me just put in the values. For example, network.emulate network conditions. I'll set it to false. I'll set the latency to be equal to 5000. Download throughput is in, as you can see, it is in bytes per second. So what I'll be doing is 40,000 bytes per second, because manually when we had set it was 320 kilobits per second, and you can convert that into, if you convert that into kilobytes per second, it will come out to be 40 kilobytes. So this is the same speed that I have kept. For upload speed also I have kept the same. And connection type, you can it is an optional value, and you can set a connection type of your choice. So connection type dot, you can select Bluetooth or 2G, 3G, 4G, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, any network connection of your choice. So let me just choose 3G, or let us say 2G. Okay, yeah. So these are the lines of code that we'll have to add to our script to emulate different network conditions. Let me try to run it. So before running it, let me just walk you through the code again. So WebDriver Manager.ChromeDriver.setup. Again, we are using the WebDriver Manager API to automatically download our the browser driver binaries. What it does is it automatically downloads the Chrome driver, which is compatible with the Chrome, which is compatible with the current Chrome version installed on my system. After that, what I have done is I have created a new object of Chrome driver class, and I have stored it in a reference of Chromium driver. So in Selenium 4, Chromium driver is the parent of Chrome driver. This is just a polymorphic reference. Then what we have done is we have created a DevTools object, and we have created a new session with it, and we have and then using the DevTools object, we are sending different commands. So the first command that we send is network.enable. What that does is it enables network tracking, as you can see in this official page. Also, it enables network tracking, network events, which will be delivered to the client. Then the next command that we send via Chrome DevTools is emulate network conditions, and it accepts different parameters that we have just discussed, like offline mode, and the latency, the download and the upload speeds, the type of connection, and things like that. After we have done that, ask the normal script that we had written. First of all, browser window gets maximized, then it will navigate to google.com. It will click on the Gmail button, click on the sign in button, and then it will enter this is a test in the email field. It will wait for 2 seconds so that we can see that this particular text is entered into the screen, and then we'll be quitting all the browser windows or the current browser window which is opened by the WebDriver. So now let me just try to run this particular test again, and I'm sure you'll see some sort of speed difference. So you can see that the Chrome browser has been launched, and it is taking a bit of a time to load this particular page, google.com. Only after this page gets loaded successfully, this particular link over here will be clicked. So I'll not be skipping this video. Let us just wait for the pages to get loaded, and let us wait for the test to complete. So by doing this, we have actually successfully emulated what our end users will be experiencing at their end when they are on slower networks. So our application should behave, or the application under test, it should behave it should work seamlessly. It should behave without any issues. The user should not be facing any sorts of issues while accessing or while navigating through the pages of our application. So you can see that it has already clicked on the Gmail button or the Gmail link, and it is still it was still loading, and once this page gets completely loaded, the sign in button will be clicked. Yeah, so it has clicked on the sign in button. And once this page gets loaded successfully, some text will be entered into this screen, into this particular field. After that, we have added a delay of 2 seconds explicitly, and then our test will and then the browser will be closed and our test will be finished. So let us just wait for this one. See, the page has loaded and this is a test has been entered, and after waiting for 2 seconds, the browser window was closed and our test was successfully executed. So this is how so in this way we have now emulated the different network or the slow network conditions successfully, and we can put this particular thing to use in our tests also, so that we do not miss out our testing we do not miss out testing our application on slow networks. So I hope you got to learn something new with this video. Thank you so much for your time.